how a Labour government would tackle the migrant crisis. Last night, Shadow Cabinet member Peter Kyle responded to the Rwanda vote by tweeting their 5-point plan, and it's this. 1. Cracking down on people smuggling gangs through a new cross-border police unit. 2. Clearing the asylum backlog by recruiting new staff. 3. A new returns agreement with France and other countries. 4. Reforming legal routes for refugees to stop them being exploited by gangs. And 5. Tackling humanitarian crises at source by helping refugees in their own regions. Well, it's been a long time coming, but let's drill into the detail now. And I'm joined by human rights lawyer Shaib Khan, who joins me now. So we've got some detail on the bones at last of what Labour would do. Can I ask you, do you think it would work? First of all, cracking down on people smuggling gangs. We've heard this for years, but no one's ever managed to achieve it.
Hi, yes. Obviously you say, there's finally some meat on the bones, but pretty thin, isn't it? We don't really have any idea how they're actually going to do any of this. Just going by what they've said. So like you said, in terms of the smuggling gangs, so at least what they're saying is reforming resettlement routes. I think that is something that, that should really be, we only really need a 1-point plan, and that is it. That should really be the top of everyone's list who wants to deal with this. We need to sort out resettlement routes. And what resettlement routes basically means is hopefully legal, safe routes for asylum seekers to reach the UK. So like we've seen with Ukrainians, like we saw to some extent, very limited extent, with Afghans and some other countries. That's what we need. If we have, legal ways for asylum seekers to reach the UK and settle here, then they wouldn't have to risk their lives and encourage and give business to smuggling gangs. So that's really positive to see that there, but let's see if it actually works. Then another thing, obviously, again, it's number 5, unfortunately, on the list, should really be number 1 or 2. And that's actually tackling the humanitarian crisis in the regions, keeping people there, supporting them there. The US, the UK, Western allies, our allies generally, we're really keen on and we're really active in creating refugees, but we don't really support them. And so, again, it's really important we can actually find ways to keep people safe in their countries. People are desperate not to leave. They have their lives, homes, families, livelihoods, everything where they live. And if we can just help them settle there and be safe there, of course, that's an amazing thing. Other than that, I think what we have, a lot of it is just repeating. The Tories have been saying the same things, but how are you going to do that? Like we saw, they're talking about, cutting or reducing the backlog. But obviously, Rishi Sunak, let's see, he only has another 2 weeks to go before his deadline, his self-implemented, self-enforced deadline to clear the backlog by the end of the year. So that's what they were suggesting initially was we'll recruit more caseworkers, we'll get the backlog down. But in fact, what they've done is they've just made claiming asylum harder. They've just made lodging asylum claims harder. They've just made it easier to withdraw claims. So many claims the Home Office have just considered withdrawn.
Okay.
So they've withdrawn and cancelled people's claims. And then they're saying, the numbers have come down.
I need to interject because in this 5-point plan, let me put it to you, there's not a single thing here that will tackle the numbers coming in. There's a great many things. It will increase the numbers of people coming to UK. Safer routes will make it easier to apply. We already keep 76% of people who apply for asylum. And it's interesting how you felt that number 5, tackling humanitarian crises at source by helping refugees in their own regions, should be higher up. That's basically foreign aid on steroids. That basically means anytime there's a crisis anywhere in the world, the UK should send a flipping great wodge of cash to keep people in their countries. I put it to you, Mr. Khan, that would be an endless bill, an endless nightmare, and it wouldn't decrease the numbers, but it certainly would increase the financial liability of the UK.
Firstly, what the government's doing and what Labour said and what we've done with Rwanda, hundreds of millions of pounds, not a single, like people say. I wish it was funny, but, we sent more Home Secretaries there than asylum seekers. So the point is, and, everyone knows by now, I think it's pretty settled. No one's ever going to get sent. We're not sending any flights there. We wasted hundreds of millions of pounds. And so that's what the government just keeps doing every year. It's gimmicks, sound bites, nothing actually works. I think it just comes to a point where we say, is our point we don't want to help people? Or is the point what people claim is the case, and that's that the country is full? If the point is, which I don't agree with anyway, but if we're saying, yes, our infrastructure, we don't have infrastructure, we don't have schools and hospitals, we can't bring more people to the UK, then at least we can help desperate people where they are. And that's what foreign aid is for. If we need to increase it, we increase it. And secondly, like I said initially as well, we, in fact, through the work we do abroad and our attitudes towards disputes and conflicts and our allies, we create so many refugees. So, I mean, at least we can make an effort to create less refugees, so there would be less burden on us.
OK, we'll have to leave it there. Shoaib Khan, thank you very much for joining us on the show, human rights lawyer there.